for yourself any type of way. Try to keep it under wraps for yourself. But anyways, Duty Bookman poisoned the water and killed many, but he was eventually caught because he was snitched on, and they made an example of him by cutting off his head and parading it through the town square. A lot of this history is brutal, but people are gonna have to learn how to have a stronger stomach these days. But anyways, they killed Duty Bookman, but this didn't quell the thirst for freedom in Haiti because too many people were tired of working all the time. And the spirit to be free is just strong among black people in general. We just can't be held down for too long. What happened next was Toussaint L'Ouverture took up the mantle. Toussaint had a better upbringing than most black people in Haiti. Toussaint was well spoken, he was well read. A lot of these people will try to make you think a lot of these Haitian revolutionaries were all slaves. A lot of them were very well educated, very well off people. They just didn't tolerate slavery because it was happening to their people. Toussaint L'Ouverture was one such person. He was actually raised among whites, so he had a softer spot for whites than a lot of the other revolutionaries did. And that eventually led to his downfall, where he saw that the island of Saint-Domingue or Haiti could be a hub for all types of people to live together and trade and build something really special. The French just didn't see it that way. And while he was fighting them for his freedom, his military tactics were impeccable. They had to resort to deceit to capture him. They actually captured him under the pretext of him going to a peace treaty talk, and it was going to be no arms there or nothing, and he fell for it. He went there and they captured him, and they basically threw him in a dungeon in France until he died. Now, this is one of the case of France killing the devil they know for the devil they don't. Who came after Toussaint was a fellow by the name of Jean-Jacques Dessalines. Jean-Jacques Dessalines was the opposite. Where Toussaint L'Ouverture was Martin Luther King, Jean-Jacques Dessalines was Malcolm X to his core. There's always that dichotomy in most black people's history. I don't know why, it just happens that way. But Jean-Jacques Dessalines was a gruff man, he was a tough man, he was not a docile man. He had tasted the slings of slavery in his youth and actually worked his way into freedom. So when he got the reins of leadership after Toussaint L'Ouverture, he was convinced that France would not let go of the island unless they had absolutely no interest on the island. So upon coming to this realization, he made all Haitians take a pact, whether you're mixed, whether you're black, to basically rid the island of all white people. And this is not just something he did because he didn't like white people. It was a very bloody, a very drawn out, a very cruel history between the two people. There was a lot of death. There was a lot of death of a lot of black people before he said, let's kill all white people. It's not something he just came up with. I know how people like to paint that picture, but that's what he did. And it was a very hard thing for the people on the island, especially if they were mixed, because there was a lot of upper class mulatto people who had white mothers, who had white fathers, who had white aunts and uncles who were asked to do such things. And that's a very hard thing. A lot of them couldn't do it. A lot of them helped their people leave to Louisiana and other places to escape the bloodshed. But a lot of people did do it. But either way, this mass killing was kind of Jean-Jacques Dessalines' way of bringing all these people together. Even though it doesn't work that way, blood always calls for blood. That's why blood should always be a last resort. I'll put it that way. Blood always calls for blood. And eventually, through uneasy power conflicts and uneasy power struggles, after he came to emperor rulership and defeated the French, he was betrayed by his own lieutenants in the Indigenous army. By the way, the Haitian army was called the Indigenous army, not the African army, not the Haitian army, but the Indigenous army. That tells you who they were. But he was then murdered, and then power kind of switched hands in Haiti for a time, back and forth. But that's as much as I'm willing to share on the history of Haiti. I'm only sharing this to encourage more people, especially African Americans. Your history is more covered up than anyone else's history. I'm encouraging you all to look into our history was covered up, and you've seen how crazy that shit is. I'm curious to see what true African American history is, And I can't really look that up. While I'm black and technically I am African American, I'm not native born to North America. That's your job. And I personally want to hear that story. Thank you for letting me share, and thank you for listening. Also, check me out on my Instagram, GoGoLS86, and check out my art. I have art commissions for sale. I incorporate a lot of Indigenous and worldwide history inside my art. It's something for everybody to enjoy in there. I make shoes, I make posters, I make whatever. Hit me up.